People believed they already knew the narrative for years. Two youthful pop sensations, a single reality program, and a marriage that millions witnessed disintegrate in front of everyone. The cool older guy from a boy band that hit the top of the charts was Nick Lachey. The 22-year-old celebrity Jessica Simpson was becoming larger than anyone had anticipated. They appeared to be the ideal American pair. However, everything was quietly collapsing behind the cameras. 20 years after their dramatic divorce, Nick is now finally sharing the truth about what actually transpired. The tragic reason that neither of them noticed the marriage was ending until it was too late. What really ended one of the most memorable romances in Hollywood. How it all started. Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson were just two young singers who fell in love before the cameras, drama, and $10 million divorce settlement headlines. Nick was well established. In the late 1990s, he was a member of 98 Degrees, a boy band that fought for airtime on radio stations with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. He had hits, supporters, and a flourishing career. Jessica Simpson, a church girl from Texas with a strong voice and a father who oversaw her career, was 18 when he first met her. In 1999, they began dating. Nick was the elder, more seasoned musician, and Jessica was just starting out. When they were married, he was 28. She was 22 years old. It may not seem like much, but that 6-year age difference is significant. Jessica has been candid about her youth and innocence. Her family was very devout when she was growing up. She made a public pledge to save herself for marriage. Nick was much more stable, older, and had already experienced the demands of celebrity. According to her own description, she was still discovering who she was. In February of 2002, they became engaged, and in October of the same year, they were married in an opulent Texas wedding. They were, by all accounts, truly in love. According to Jessica, Nick was actually her first love in everything, and it's important because it influences everything that follows. In reality, Nick was the bigger star when they were married. He was wealthier. There was a sizable fan base for 98 Degrees. Jessica continued to climb despite her talent. According to reports, her father Joe Simpson informed her that since Nick had more to lose than she had, she didn't need a prenuptial agreement. The consequences of that choice would be quite costly. The show that changed everything. In 2003, a short reality series on married life was proposed to the couple by MTV. It was a small pitch at first, a couple episodes, a marketing tool for the songs that Nick and Jessica were releasing at the time, a means of maintaining both names in public discourse. No one could have guessed what would happen next, not Nick, Jessica, the network, or the producers. The program debuted on August 19, 2003, under the title Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica. The audience's reaction was swift and overwhelming. Every week, millions of people watched to see how the pair handled everyday life, arguments, and all the little things that go into a marriage. Nick discussed this on the podcast Richer Lives in 2025, stating that the program began as a means of promoting music records. Neither party anticipated that it would become a pivotal moment in the history of reality television, according to Nick. The program took on a life of its own and expanded well beyond what either participant had agreed to. Jessica emerged as the star of the show. Her sincerity, spontaneity, and total lack of filter resonated with the viewers. Jessica truly questioned if the contents of a can of tuna labeled chicken of the sea were fish or chicken in the most memorable sequence of the entire series. The moment spread like wildfire. It became one of the decade's most cited TV scenes. Years later, Jessica disclosed the crucial context in this case. The show's ditzy demeanor was partially created and not totally natural. Jessica has talked about how she purposefully minimized her own brilliance on camera in order to win the audience over to Nick in interviews and in her novel Open Book. Making Nick appear steady, informed, and patient was the aim. Jessica wanted everyone to perceive Nick as the hero of the fairy tale marriage. For the show, the tactic was successful. Jessica's public image suffered as a result, and she was labeled as a dumb blonde for years. To preserve the marriages and Nick's reputations, Jessica gave up how the public saw her. Ironically, Jessica's career path changed completely as a result of the episode. A clothing brand, a prominent part in the Dukes of Hazzard, few albums that are platinum, a cosmetics company. The show was the catalyst for Jessica's rise to fame. Nick gained something different from the show. Nick was introduced to a wider audience by the show, especially guys who could identify